my name is Katya. Welcome to my channel. Even if outside is very cold and we just arrived from mountains, we had a project there, I feel so much the coming of spring and I'm waiting so much for it, and that's why I decided to put on my table these flowers, even if they're dry. It doesn't matter, I just like the energy that they bring to me, and I just like how it looks, and I want so much spring to come, to go to the forest, to have a lot of walks, and yeah, to feel free and to feel the warmth with all my body. In this video I want to show you how I made my second book of shadows. This is it. And this is my old one that I finished recently. No, to be honest, some pages remain, but I am now filling them. And I liked the experience of making a book, of writing in it, all the interesting magical ideas so much. And I like this book, I really do. And I of course will save my book, I will reread it, rewatch it, and I don't know, I just like it so much. But my second book of shadows I decided to make a little bit different. I choose a different format because I noticed that this format fits me better. First, I want to remind you that in my first book of shadows all my pages were binded together. I like it a lot, and it looks very beautiful, but I noticed that sometimes I want to move to another chapter some of the sheets, some of the pages, and I can't do it. And it's a big pity because I don't want to take the page off and glue it because it will not look perfect. So I decided to avoid this problem in the future, and for my second book of shadows I bought a simple folder from a market, a small one with 2 rings inside. You can open this ring and you can move sheets in where you want, and I think this format fits me very well, and I will be happier. So I decided to buy a folder and to sew for it a beautiful case to decorate it, and I think it will look very beautiful and special in its way. Before sewing the case I started embroidering, and this will be the main decoration of my book. That will be just in the front page. I thought it would be very pretty for my book to have a round hole in the front from which the embroidered drawing will be seen. Also, some more decorations will be put here. In the right center of my embroider I sewed up an old key. This is a Scottish key that we bought with Stanley in Edinburgh, I think 3 years ago. We bought this key and its brother together in an antique shop, and I like it so much. It is very old, and I think that as the main decoration of my book, this key is very symbolic. It is associated with a mystery, with something dreamlike and secret. It kind of opens the door to a new world. Around the key I embroidered 2 branches. I don't know which tree is this. This is just my fantasy. These branches are not identical. I wanted them to look naturally, and you will never find 2 identical branches in the nature. After embroidering, I took the fabric off from the circle and I glued it with super glue on the folder, leaving some extra space. It is very important for the glue to be away from the main circle that will be seen under the case. And now let's talk about the case itself. First, I took the measures of the folder and I made some notes in my notebook. I will need them when sewing the case. I decided to fully hide my folder in the fabric case. Only the rings will be seen and will remain untouched. For 7 lei, which is €1.50 approximately, I bought in second hand in Cluj this beautiful cotton fabric. I liked it so much. I like this a bit swamp colored light green fabric. This is 100% cotton, and as you see, I think this fabric will be enough for some more things to sew, and I'm very happy because I like this color and this print. Of course, after buying from second hand, each of the things that I buy from second hand, first I washed it and then I ironed it. Considering the measurements of the folder, I cut a bit bigger piece. I took my fabric from the inside part and I fixed it using some pins on the upper side. It is very important to work on the inside part of the fabric. When we will twist our work, the bright side of the print will be above. The below side of the case should remain not sewn up. I took away the fabric from the folder and I sewed the pin line with the sewing machine. Twisted the case on the front side, ironed it, put it on the folder and temporarily pinned the upper side. The case should fit tight to the folder. After this, I took the scissors and I cut out a circle. It will be a circle frame for the embroidery. I had to be very attentive here for not touch the embroidery by chance. I took off the case from the folder and processed the edges of the circle. I did it by hands. Put on again the case on the folder and tucking inside the excess of the fabric. I fixed the upper side with the pins. The upper side I sewed by hands as well, and I tried to hide the threads inside. Now let's start doing a bookmark. For this book I decided to crochet a tape. For this I found a very beautiful thread, again in second hand, and I like that it has different thickness and it gives more texture to the type. I crocheted with simple loops, the easiest pattern. At the end of my tape I sewed a very beautiful wooden oak leaf that I found in one of the shops for some handmade stuff. I sewed the tape on the upper side and after I just had to cover the holes between the rings. For this I took a piece of fabric and sewed it, always hiding the edges inside. And again I sewed it by my hands. I also sewed small holes around the rings. On the first page of my book I decided not to write my book of shadows like I did for my first book. This is it. but to write Grimoire because I like how this French word sounds, and also I think that this word fits better for my book. Because it is so light, it is so luminous, it's not a book of shadows, it's like a book of lights. And the word grimoire fits better, I think. And also my new book of shadows is very woodsy, it has a lot of forest theme, and for me forest is associated with life, and life is sun and it's light. The key theme also fit perfectly on the first page, so as you noticed here it had the key theme and also on my first page. And I taped this piece of paper where I drew some plants and I wrote grimoire with a simple tape for constructions, I don't know its name. On the posterior side of my book I sewed up a small pocket, and maybe some of you noticed that this is the fabric from my blouse. Actually, I told in my Russian account that this blouse was a dress actually, and I bought it in outlet for only 1 leu, Romanian leu, and it was so cheap because it was all with holes. It was I don't know what happened to it but it was all destroyed, the lower side, and I decided that a good idea is to buy it and to make a small blouse, which I did, and I did by my hands because this fabric is very thin. And I like so much the result, and only for 1 leu I have this beautiful romantic blouse. It's a little bit folk, so I'm very happy. And also a lot of small pieces of fabric remained, and now I can use them in Book of Shadows, like here, or for the other purposes. And I like this small pocket because here I can put some stickers, some, I don't know, amulets, talismans and other magical things that I want. And again I sewed it by my hands because here is very difficult to sew it by machine, and you need super control. And the last and the most interesting part of decorating the book is this small wreath that I made by my hands, and a friend of mine helped me. Together with a friend, one day we went outside and we decided to collect some branches, some small branches for making this kind of wreath. And we decided that willow is the perfect tree for this, not only because I like willow and this is a very feminine tree, it has a very feminine energetic, but also because its branches are very thin and flexible, and you can easily make some wreath like these. And I made 2. One is this small wreath for my book, and one I will use for some home decorations lately. And how I did it. It is very easy to do. Before weaving I washed all the found branches and weaved them a little bit with a towel. I took the first basic branch, measured my circle with it and tied it up with a thread. After this, the process is very simple. I twisted all the branches above the first one. My advice is to always start twisting from different parts of the circle. In this way, the wreath will not become heavier on one of the parts. At the end, I hid the sticking branches inside. At the time the wreath is still green, it has to be sewed up on the circle. After some time it will become dry and brown, but to be honest I like both ways. Now it is green, but soon it will be brown and I will also like it a lot. And now I finished to speak about the exterior part of my book, and let's see what I have inside. If I will not know any word in English, I will tell you in Romanian or in Russian, and after this in editing I will translate it so you know the right word. Before I started making my book, half a year ago I started collecting various types of paper, interesting pieces of paper that I wanted to put inside. Some of them are in my book already, and these remained. I want to show them also. I used this thin paper. I like the sound that it makes and also it's that is so thin and so tender. These three papers I wanted to use in my book, but they are much bigger than my book and I didn't want to cut them because they're so beautiful together. These pages I found in one of old Soviet encyclopedia. I like them a lot because here you can find a lot of medical herbs and their names, and I think I will use these papers for decorating my room, my place, and I didn't want to cut them because I like them all together. This small postcard I have from Portugal, maybe I will put it inside my book. Some drawings, I have some carton and these papers are for handmaders and were brought to me by my friend from London. Also some drawings, and this sheet was made for reading. I don't know what it is. So another postcard with flamingos from Portugal, and in one of my favorite shops of handmade I saw these червецели and I like them so much because they're so woodsy and they fit perfectly for my book of shadows, and that's why I decided to buy them and to cut these drawings and to glue them up in my book. That I did already. I'll show you later. Also I have here some notebooks, musical notebooks, and I decided to use them also. I like how it looks, even if they are white. Maybe I will color them or I will leave them white as they are. And also a simple notebook of maths with squares, and I like a lot how the paper sounds, and white paper is also very interesting sometimes. And also I have this paper from the time when I just started reading about runes and discovering this theme, and maybe I will use this paper for decoration someday. Maybe, I don't know. So this is my collection, and I'm continuing collecting various papers. And also I want to show you this thing. I don't know how this object is called in English, but it is very useful when you have a folder because I want the papers to be with identical holes inside, so I use this thing to make holes in paper. And now let's move on and I will show you the book itself. So I showed you the first page. I used one of paper with keys, as I told you, and here I wrote Grimoire. For drawing I used aquarelle and also some golden pen, black pen, and this blue-green color of the pen. I like the result. Here is white, but I will color. I put some color and some information here. I put this postcard from Portugal. Natural Park Sintra Cascais gave us these cards as a present, and it's a very nice and special memory. And of course I will fill it with some information. For this Book of Shadows I also colored my sheets, my paper with tea, and I put cicoare, cicorium, I don't know how it will be in English. In Romanian it is cicoare, in Russian it's tsicori. It smells like coffee, but it's not coffee, and I like this drink a lot. And I mixed tea with this cicoare. The recipe is the same like in one of my previous video. You have to put the paper for some minutes in this water and then to dry it up, and it is ready. And you cannot even imagine the smell. It smells even better than coffee. This cicoare is just perfect for coloring and for putting inside of a Book of Shadows. So I really recommend to try this cicoare and for coloring your paper. This small chapter is filled with this type of paper, and I like the smell, I like how it sounds, I like the sound of the paper so much. And also I drawn some frames here already. I like when each of the page contains some frames. I don't know why, it looks so pretty. And here, can you see this shapes and these colors? It changes and crazy. And here I took those napkins, those șervețele, and I cut drawings, and I glued here these two birds and the house, and here some flowers. And this small chapter I stolen from one of my old notebooks from Chisinau, and I like that these papers are smaller and they are very beautiful. The color is perfect for my book, and this small chapter is more gothic. Also from one of my old notebooks, very pretty. I don't know yet what chapter I will have, but I have some ideas, and if you have some ideas what I can write about, you can write down this video some advices. Here there is this thin paper, and here I decided to put some pages from a book of Anna Akhmatova. There are her poems, and I like Anna Akhmatova so much. This is a Russian poet, and I like the idea of using these pages, using this spare space for some another information, and to give these pages another life. I think it's better than to just to keep them inside of the book. It's interesting. And here are two very beautiful poems about pines and about summer garden. Летний сад, сосны. Yeah, and here I put a small paper of a musical notebook. Another papers of chicoire and tea, and a drawing that I glued here. Some papers. Look at these shades, wow. I like that there are some holes even here, and it looks so pretty. Another piece of paper from a musical notebook. And this year I bought a calendar that you have to take off every day a piece of paper. I like this idea. It's like advent calendar, but for all for the whole year. And as I started this book in 2021, I decided to keep the first page of this year here. And also I wrote here the year I started this book to remember, and I liked this drawing of sun. I also contoured it with a black pen, and it looks pretty. Here I have small pocket. I can use it for some objects, maybe for some talismans or something. And I used this acrylic paint that remained from Stanley. Stanley made me a very beautiful present this year for New Year, and he used a lot of acrylic colors. After this he gave them to me, and I'm very happy to use them. I drawn this plant with this paint, and also some moon, some stars. Here we have a small page with mushrooms. I like mushroom theme a lot. Again, a thin paper, and here I have a big chapter of black paper, and I like the idea of drawing with silver pen on black paper, because it is so mystical, magical, so shadowy, and I think I will use somehow very interesting this chapter. And on the first page I have this drawing, witchy witchy style, and after this, I don't know, I'll feel it somehow. And here I decided to make some fun, and I just put my finger inside of the paint and made some stamps with my finger. And here I put a spare sheet of musical notebook. And this thing, this paper I bought from a Handmade store. I like that it is already ready for using in such purposes like Book of Shadows or something. It looks gorgeous. This is a white page that I embodied. After this I put some mathematical with squares simple notebook, and here I drawn some flowers, and I use this acrylic paint just to paint above. Here there is nothing. A small piece of this paper, again a thin paper. And this is for now the unique chapter that I know exactly that it will be something interesting, and I decided to make a chapter about mythology. I kept this idea for a long time, and I want to tell you about various mythological personages, and about ancient gods and something like this. And I decided to start with Dacian ancient gods, gods of ancient dogs. And Here are the most important ones. This is Almoxis, Gebelezis, Nebelezis, Bandis, and the others. And later I will write down some information about them. And here I decided to draw some a wolf, because it was the main symbol of Dacians. And here is the sun. Also some spare pages, very beautiful, and of course smells very good. And here is the chapter of these kind of retro pages. It's like carton, but I have them from my some accounting stuff. Yeah, and I collected them long time ago, and the last page for now is again this retro page. Yeah, and this is it. If you have some ideas what I can put, what else I can put inside, what chapters I can write, you can write below this video. I will be very happy to read them and maybe to follow your ideas. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was interesting and you liked it, and this video inspired you to make a book or a photo album, whatever. And if you like this video, please press thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm very happy to see how this channel grows, and see you on the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.